Let's bring in First Public Relations Officer ACP Muyiwa Adejobi, who joins me on the program this evening. ACP Adejobi, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Nifemi, good evening, Nigeria.
8 infractions recorded against the police, including contract irregularities. We're hearing to the tune of R1 billion. Does this bother the IGP? How's the police authority responding to this Auditor General's report?
Well, it's a surprise to us to read in the news that we have 3,900 plus arms missing and all these irregularities. And that's why the committee has invited the IG and sessional heads, relevant sessional heads to come and clear this. These are just reports, and I gone through the copy of the reports from the Office of the Auditor General, and I've seen that, in fact, misuse of words indicated cause of error. In some sections they were mindful of some words used. For instance, the issue of the missing arms. The Auditor General did not say missing arms in the report. He said 3,900 plus unaccounted for. Unaccounted for is different from missing. So I know these regularities have come, and that's why when they had the first sitting yesterday, they adjourned till I think till Monday or whatever. I know there's adjournment, and the police will give police enough time to go and prepare, come up with documents to show. The police had already responded to this audit query from the Office of the Auditor General. But let me specifically speak to the issue of the missing hands because it's of importance to us, so that we will not go and push out unnecessary fears in the minds of Nigerians. We will not paint Nigerian nation unsafe in the face of the global community. Every year we have reports of internal audit of armories, and statutorily by the provisions of the police regulations, the Assistant Commissioner of Police Operations of every command is mandated to audit armories on a regular basis. So we always have this. We are shocked to have this figure. The police has never lost any 3,900 plus arms. And don't forget, this is 2019 reports based on what I have with me. And I've been seeing people dragging us, particularly dragging the incumbent Inspector General of Police up and down on this matter. It's 2019. It's not IGP Kayode Egbedokun's time. Whatever it is, we always, police an institution, a responsible institution for that matter, will take responsibility for any issue we need to clarify. So we are working hard to make sure that when the committee or the delegation goes back to report to the committee, this will be cleared. But let me say that the Nigeria Police Force has not lost 3,900 plus arms as alleged. Even the report of the Auditor General said unaccounted for. And don't forget, when arms are being issued out to our men, many of them don't drop these arms on a daily basis. There are some arms that we have with our men that will be on the field for 3 months, 4 months, and 5 months. So we can't jump into conclusion that any arms not found in the holding, the arms holding of the police is missing. It is not.
I hear you, ACP. I hear you clearly, because what the Senate Public Accounts Committee is saying is that well over 3,000 firearms have disappeared, including AK-47 rifles.
That's the word. Disappearance is the word. Let us get it right. I told you.
Just a minute, ACP. I just want to follow up on your submission, because what they're saying is that they fear that these ammunitions are now in the hands of criminal element. Help us identify precisely what you meant by not accounted for. If the arms are in the field, can't they be accounted for as to this is where they are per time, so that these kind of stories do not continue to gain traction?
I'm sure that has been clear in the police has already responded to these queries, and this has been explained. But this particular one was not captured in the what we had in the news yesterday. The news just speaks that police is missing 3,907 firearms. This is alarming and is worrisome to us as a responsible institution, because this is not accurate. And the report is not accurate to say that we are having 3,909 firearms missing. Don't forget that we agree. We are not saying we are not having some arms. We lost some arms due to attacks on our men. Some of our men have been killed the battlefield. Their arms scattered away. As they cut away some of these, we recover many arms too. Don't forget that many of these incidences have been recorded. So police is not saying we have not lost any arms at all. But this figure is alarming, and we need to consider not to conclusion and have a particular figure that the police has lost 3,907. And like I said, the report of the AG, Auditor General, is not saying the police have lost 3,900. They said unaccounted for. So what we need to do is not to reconcile the records we have, the annual report we have on our arms, and let the Auditor General people come again, because we have submitted our report. If there are issues they still want us to clarify, it's there for us to clarify, and reconcile our report to see what we have. Perhaps if they still want to go through all the records, state by state, the police available, but it's not job to say, because the report is saying 3,907 arms are unaccounted for, and we jump to the conclusion that these arms are missing. That is not too fair enough for us in the police. And we don't need to push out a wrong narration out there, so that we not create fears in the minds of people and paint Nigeria an unsafe nation.
I'd like us to begin with the issue of discipline, which is really a big deal in the force. I'm wondering what the strategy really is to better instill this in officers across board. But I wanted to speak also specifically to the fact that no operative is now expected to be seen carrying rifles while dressed in civilian attire. Is that enforcement in force as we speak?
It's not negotiable. Nifemi, the IGP has spoken. The IGP doesn't advise his men. He gives directives. And he has spoken, he has given them directives. He spoke directly to strategic managers, that is commissioners of police and above. So that meeting was so strategic, very, very critical, because it's a virtual meeting. And the IGP made it clear that on no account should any policeman be seen on mufti and carrying long rifles. It is not proper. You can't be on the road. The authority you have to be on the road to stop any vehicle, to search any vehicle, is the paraphernalia office, which of course uniform is part of it. You cannot be on mufti wearing T-shirts over jean and you want to stop a vehicle to say you have authority to stop a vehicle because you are carrying rifles. So it's not proper. The IGP has made it clear that even all those tactical teams or tactical squads we have, they should have their approved uniforms.
ACP, are you saying specifically that Nigerians shouldn't recognize the authority of a police personnel in mufti who is carrying an arm and who attempts to stop them on the road?
Well, there are two ways to handle this, because it's contextual and circumstantial. There are some cases where you're going to see some policemen or not fully dressed, but they have long-range rifles on them. But you see them in the midst of their uniformed officers. So let us get it right so that we will not mislead Nigerians. It's not that when you see people in this situation, you say, because you've seen them on jean and shirt amidst their other uniformed colleagues, you will not honor them. You pinpoint them and say, no, I just said no. There are some situations where you have uniformed men with their marked patrol vehicles. Maybe they are on special operation. I go to see tactical squad with them. This is a different thing. But for you to be on the road, to have 2 or 3, 4 policemen on mufti and carrying rifles, I think this calls for concerns. And I want Nigerians to be wary of people who are going to turn out in this manner.
I hear the first part, ACP. You know, we have a short time, but I want to get some clarity in your submission. I heard the first part, that if you see them in the midst of uniformed officers, you need to also accord them that respect. But what happens if a policeman is not wearing uniform and is isolated, is alone? How should I handle that as a civilian?
With this IGP's directive, I don't think a professional, bona fide or genuine policeman should be on the road of mufti, if I may. I don't think it's proper for any policeman with this new directive.
Policemen, like every other Nigerian, err, right? So let us just assume that one of them is. How should I handle that situation if I see someone in mufti on the road?
In as much you have not given any Nigerian the power to discipline any policeman, I want to advise them that if they come across such an individual, all our numbers are out. Our numbers have been published. We want them to quickly reach out to us, call the commissioner of police in charge of that state, or they call us directly. Don't let us just pick or give any blanket check to anybody to say, if you see any policeman or mufti, you have to flog, you have to attack. No. Please, if you take note, if you notice anyone like that, don't attack such a person. Quickly contact us. We know what to do.
All right.
That's the best way to handle this.
Again, we're hearing that violation of human rights by the police will not be tolerated, and that this will be met with stiff sanctions and penalty with severe consequences. My concern really is, where do Nigerians whose rights are violated by the police go, and will they actually get justice? For instance, I'm wondering, why don't we normalize police officers wearing body cams? Because these days, you are able to track this in discipline when people post online. Why is that a challenge as of 2025?
Nifemi, the issue of procuring body cams for police personnel is a capital project, and I'm sure the IGP has taken a step in that direction. I don't want to be so specific on this program, but I'm sure the leadership of the police, particularly the Inspector General of Police, is interested in that and is working towards that. The issue of protection of human rights is the major duty of the Nigeria Police Force. There's no individual that protects people's fundamental human rights as a policeman. Where we have very few, very mega, very infinitesimal number, percentage of policemen who violate people's rights. The Nigerian Police Force are taking it up seriously. We don't toy with this and we don't joke with it. In fact, I want to say without missing words, that trying to be quoted or corrected every time, that the Nigerian Police Force remains the #1 agency of government, either ministry, department, or agency. Yeah. I will always expose the hearing officers in the Nigerian Police Force. We don't condone that. We don't support it. And that's why you see that we come out all the time. We always make people know that the Nigerian Police Force have done it. Just about 4 days ago, Abia Command dismissed 3 policemen who abducted some innocent people in Abia. They have been dismissed, and I can say correctly now that they have been charged to court. I think 2 days ago they have appeared in court. So we don't condone that. I want Nigerians to be very to be on the same page with us in this particular matter.
ACP,
the Nigerian Police Force, will not condone that, and the IGP has repeated that.
I hear you clearly.
Policies and the directive of the Inspector General.
We are running out of time. Yes, we are running out of time. I just want you to answer this before we go. You have some good following on X, and I know you are aware of what's happening online. How do you react to the narrative that the police is out arresting those abusing government officials, including the president and others?
If I mean, there's a difference between criticism and bullying or attacks. You can easily tell me, Muyiwa Adejobi, the policy you have made is not for the good or the betterment of the masses. That is criticism. But you can't say, Muyiwa Adejobi, you're a madman. You are not normal. You are crazy. Your policy is this. There's a difference between criticism and abuse. And we need to have, there's a difference between that. And we want people to take note of this, that cyberbullying or cyber stalking is an offense.
And I get you clearly, but you know what Nigerians are saying, ACP, is that isn't it a waste of resources if someone comes online and say, Mr. President, you are stupid, and then the police goes to arrest him? They're wondering, is that really the problem of insecurity in Nigeria as we speak?
Nobody has ever arrested any blogger for saying, Mr. President, you are stupid. We are talking of serious defamation of character here, talking of serious bullying, really causes on an individual. And I've seen on X, and I've been trying to explain to them, to educate them, that this is a criminal offense in Nigeria. Our job as a responsible security agency in Nigeria, the police force, is to educate Nigeria. We don't need to wait for Nigeria to run foul of the law and arrest. Part of our statutory duty is to educate. And this is what we have been doing: advocacy, public enlightenment, particularly on the provisions of the Cybercrime Act, Revision Act of 2024 as amended. This act, we are not using this act to withhold anybody. But let people learn and let us embrace our moral values. How can you just come on here, abuse people, abuse wives, daily causes, tag them, and lay allegations that you cannot substantiate? For goodness sake. People have come out to say somebody is a thief, somebody is an armed robber, and you cannot even prove it. Let us be mindful of this. You can express your feelings. Nobody is telling you how to express your feelings. It's your fundamental human right. When you're expressing your feelings, or still abuse somebody before you express your point.
ACP.
Or abuse somebody or call somebody before you express your feelings.
I get you clearly.
The police is not doing that. The police is not doing that, but we need to take note that the law is the law.
I hear you clearly.
Together. Understand the legal framework of this country.
We have completely run out of time. We're going to continue this conversation. Hopefully, you have time to join us subsequently. ACP Muyiwa Adejobi, thank you so much.
Anytime you call me, I will come. Nifemi, it's my job to talk to you and to engage Nigerians so that we can get it right.
Thank you so
and
much.
God bless you
for your contribution. That's our show today, everyone. You can watch it again at midnight and at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi